Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of
The English Couple.
The English Bakers.
Did I do it the wrong way? I've forgotten which way it goes.
We haven't done this for so long, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another of our very regular once-a-year videos, or once in a decade. Today we're in the kitchen. No sugar, Sherlock. And we are going to bake some bread, and we're going to tell you about our plans and things that have been going on, because it's been a long time. And I think the last video we were out and about at the farm. We were doing lots of farm stuff.
Yeah, I can't remember what
So,
the last video was.
So I've got this wonderful book
We were cleaning the pigs out.
called Bread Matters by Andrew Whiteley. So we're going to go by his thing, and we're going to make some bread. We're going to make some bread with some
Monkey?
Emma flour,
Yes,
which is a heritage flour.
that's right.
So what we need, Julia,
Yes,
and then
Richard.
we're going to try and make this, but obviously we won't be able to show you the finished result. Well, we might be able to show you later on or whatever.
We can add
or
a picture at the end or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Maybe.
Who knows? We may just be itching to get the video out as soon as possible. Anyway, what I was going to say is, aeroplane.
There's an aeroplane going overhead.
Yeah.
That's unusual.
Yeah. Flower bombs. So, what we need, just get the ingredients going on this. I've got a digital weighing machine.
Scales.
Thanks. Oh, I did this wrong already. I need to reset that to 0. There we go. So, when that resets, the great reset.
When you're ready.
We're going to use, I think we're going to use all of that because there's just, there we go. There's about, not quite 600 grams, and the recipe calls for 600 grams of flour. So shove the flour in there, let's see what we've got.
Emma flour incoming.
And it's a nice light grain flour, this.
It's a nice interesting colour too, isn't
It's a sort of soft light brown, isn't it?
it? Chuck it in.
Yeah, there we go.
Much.
So there's 550 grams. So we're 50 grams short of 600. So we're just going to make everything just slightly less and in that. We also now, okay, so that's 600 of that. Remember that in case we ever ask you again.
600 of that.
In here, I've got some salt, Celtic sea salt.
Celtic sea salt.
And this is a pestle and mortar.
Pestle.
Pestle. What a pestle it is.
What a pester it is.
I don't know which way around. Which is the pestle and which is the mortar?
That's the mortar, this is the pestle. I believe.
Could you crush
Could be wrong, often am.
the salt? 'Cause
can.
what we, yes,
It's a bit grubby.
it is grubby, but we're not going to use all of it.
Oh, I see.
So we want that as fine as you can muster,
Okie dokie.
right? Because I need 5 grams of that. And in here we need, so we're using flour, some yeast, salt and water. That's all that's going to be in our bread. And if the scales will work.
Hello, knock knock.
There we go. Is that working? My batteries are probably, oh no, there we go. So I need yeast, I think it's about 8 grams. So I'm just going to quickly do this. So we have been looking at land.
Yes.
Because we've been down to John's. You've seen us at John's farm, at the Cook's farm, at
Quarry farm.
Quarry farm, with the cows, you know, the last stuff that we've been doing, 8 grams of that.
And with the pigs.
And the pigs.
And the chickens.
And the chickens. We need 350 or something grams of this,
Just under a litre, I think it is.
which is just under a litre, and I did measure it, and it's, yeah,
Yeah.
that's about right. Check that, it's nice and warm. So just to get that going, shove in, I always bung in all of the yeast. This says you just bung in a bit of the yeast, but I shove it all in.
All in.
All in, give it a stir, like that. I haven't made bread for ages, so this may all go completely wrong. Sometimes it comes out lovely, sometimes it comes out as bricks.
It's always very tasty though.
It's always tasty
Always.
and very healthy. Right, we
How's
need,
that looking?
yes, 5 grams of ground salt. And whilst you do that, I need to just get a little tiny bit of sugar. Or, you could put honey in instead.
Demerara over there.
Have you got honey? Where's the honey? Oh, the honey's out in the other.
I can go fetch it.
Well, I've got some demerara. Would be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Say,
There we are.
going off miles.
Well, hardly miles, but
Oh, the house is huge. So
it's off down in the West Wing, is it?
yes, it's just enough to get the because I don't want to put too much sugar in. Keeps putting more in. Just to get the what do you call it? The yeast doing its thing.
Feed the yeast.
Feed the yeast. So yes, so once we've got 5 grams of salt, please, in there. So yes, we've been looking at land because we want to get on the land now, and we want to get some cows, some pigs, some chickens, some bees, and we want to be farming. We want to do fertility farming. Yeah, take a bit out of there. Throw it over your shoulder. Stop mucking the kitchen up. There we go.
Yeah.
Chuck that in there and stir it up. We don't need that anymore. Don't need that anymore.
Clatter, clamour.
Clatter,
Crash.
clatter. So, oh my God, looking at land, it's very tempting, difficult, not quite right, almost right, but who neighbours, people.
As with buying any property, there are a list of like boxes that need ticking or
Yes.
compromising on.
Because-
Some boxes have to be ticked, other boxes can be compromised. But
Yes.
the further away from our ideal area, the more acreage we'll need to sustain ourselves, etc.
And also, if we want to rent some extra bits of land or buy extra bits of land, it'd be nice if they're either near or, you know, contiguous.
Contiguous.
There's a word.
There's a word.
Right. So you got, is that all mixed up?
Yes.
Okay. Well done. So I'm just going to. So then what we do is we mix that up and we have to knead it for some time. And I've got a kneading thing here.
A kneading board.
You can see that that's not very clean. That's almost clean. Doesn't really matter. Anyway, we're coming to that shortly. Not quite there yet.
This stuff.
That is going to go in there, but in a minute. I need
In
to
a
just come over here and get some other
Does it
flour.
need more stirring?
No, it should. It's supposed to bubble up. If it doesn't bubble up, the thing about that is, the yeast might be dead because the yeast is quite old.
Oh, I see things happening.
Do you see life?
I see life happening, yes. Oh yes, definitely.
Oh, good.
It certainly smells yeasty.
Tasty, yeasty.
Yeasty beasty.
All right then. Well, we'll take a punt on that because if it is dead, then that won't rise. But sometimes I leave that for a little longer. But it is.
Oh yes, yep. Bubbles,
Oh yes,
bubbles.
yeah, it's alive.
It's alive!
It's alive! It's alive! Right, so using this hand, I mean that end,
The handle end.
the end,
Anyway,
I'll
then.
pull the water in. If you could stir that in.
Right.
I might just give that a stir so we get all the yeasty bits in there. Because it's important we get all the yeast in there.
Yeah. There's that big water around the side there that I was going to
Oh yes.
cook out
yeah.
earlier.
Wodgy.
There we go.
Alright, Wodger?
Right,
There we
Roger.
go. And it's helpful if the water is slightly warm because that sort of gets it going. Look at that
Invigorates the
nice
yeast.
little dribble there, ladies and gentlemen. We haven't done. We were looking back. We cooked mince pies, I think, on the channel at some point, didn't we?
Yes,
A few years
when we
ago.
first started the channel, it was just before, well, it was November, obviously just before Christmas, being in November. Year before last, isn't it? Or was,
Something like that.
was it 3 years now?
Yeah, it could have been. It's a long time.
Yes, it's been some time.
Some time
Well,
since
it
we've
has
done.
only been 2 years. Doesn't matter.
You probably know better than we do because we've
Probably.
been making content on other channels and it's very easy to get confused. That's brilliant. Okay, so I'm going to do the kneady bit, and if I need a bit more water, we'll shove a bit in there just in case. I
Yes.
shouldn't do.
Put back over there, make sure
And then
it
when
stays
I
warm.
bang it on the thing, it should be all right. So yes, we're looking. Where are we looking for land, lovely Julia?
Well, we'd love Sussex or Hampshire, but of
Hmm.
course that is dead man's boots, isn't it? It's hard to come by.
And it's a lot of it is equestrian, isn't it? Paddocks and things. Could I have a
Yes.
tiny bit more water in here?
That tiny enough?
Well, it can be. Yeah, that's fine. I'll just.
Did I take it too literally?
Yeah. But the trouble is, you don't want. Yeah, but it can just go sloppy very easily.
Yeah, if you're not careful.
And we'll be as careful as we can. And people who make bread will be watching this going, this isn't how you make bread. And that's very true. That's how I make bread. And I've followed the instructions in the book in the past. The question is, can I remember it? Probably not. And we've used spelt, we've used rye,
Yep.
we've used Emma, and there's another one we've used. I can't remember what
Yes,
it's
I was
called.
trying to think of that one.
Elaine. I think it's Elaine bread.
Humphrey.
Humphrey bread. That's bread made with milk. Watch out, watch out. There's a Humphrey about. Julia's too young to remember those adverts on the box with the stripy straws.
Doesn't help that I spent the first 4.5 years of my life in, well, 5 years, in Saudi, so saw lots of Americanised advertisements,
Yes.
but not the British ones.
So we've seen all sorts of different types of land, fields and things, but one of the problems is because we want to live on it.
Yeah.
And
We don't mind going through that whole rigmarole, although, as is quite clear, it's not easy. But there are ways and means.
yes.
We're not too proud to start off with a couple of yurts and a shepherd hut bathroom.
It's the planning permission. Oh, I need to keep an eye on the time because I've got to do this for 12 minutes.
Yes.
It's the planning permission, and if you don't get the permission, it's how do you stand in your ground and say, but,
Yeah.
we need to be there with the animals. And we want to have animals. And what animals do you think we should have first?
Chickens.
Chickens.
Chickens and bees. Yeah, those. Obviously, we want cows, but that's going to be something that takes more time because the first part is getting out of our situations now to get into a combined life where we can be growing and everything right there, yeah,
Right there,
right now. But yeah, chickens. So we've been looking at chicken breeds and think we know what breeds we like.
What breeds have we been looking at? Because you're the chicken expert. I haven't really spent much time looking at the chickens. Julia's been looking at the chickens.
I've been looking at chickens. I love chickens.
Can you remember?
Yes.
Yeah.
Plymouth Rock.
Plymouth Rock. What does Plymouth
Rock
look like?
The classic Plymouth Rock has the it's kind of white with the black bars on it. It's like a barcode or a wiggly barcode.
I tell you what, if we find a picture online, we'll
We'll
shove
put it
it on
up.
the thing so you can get. So it looks like a barcode.
Kind of.
Yeah.
That's the coloration on it. It does have different colours that it comes in, but that's the classic. It's also a dual breed, so it's a dual purpose, so for meat and for eggs. Then there's also the Orpington Bay, which comes in a bay colour, which is kind of a creamy kind of a pale orange cream kind of colour.
And these are quite large. They're egg laying.
All three of these breeds are dual purpose breeds, so for meat and eggs. So they've got not the highest egg laying record, but they do produce a fair amount of eggs. But they also produce reasonable meat as well at the end.
So you can cook them.
Yes.
Obviously not during the egg laying part.
That would be counterproductive.
We'll just have one leg for tonight. Thank you very much. Could we have some more chicken and eggs, please?
Poor tricky jocks.
So pigs is another thing that we'd like to have.
There was one more.
Oh, was there one more?
Yeah, Sussex Red.
Oh yes,
But the
Sussex Red.
But the Orpington Bay, that's a particularly maternal breed. So if we want, if we need any more chickens, we'll just hand the Orpington Bays some eggs from the other chickens as well.
Do the chickens get on with each other? They don't have any problem with...
You've heard of pecking order, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that comes from chickens.
I know my pecking order is right down in the low side of things.
The lowest ranking chickens will have the barest chest where they get plucked.
Oh, see.
But in an ideal situation, if they've got enough space and enough of everything, they won't be doing that. There will still be a pecking order, but there won't be any abuse.
Well, and they're free range, aren't they? We're going to have free range ones.
Oh yes. I'm considering raising a little Jack Russell with them or something as the early warning system, and also as a ratter for in their coop and things like that.
So that is like a guard dog for chickens?
Essentially, yes. That would be backed up by a livestock guardian dog.
And that's to stop the foxes
Foxes, yeah.
and other vermin,
Foxes.
wildebeest, elephants. banana trees, that sort of thing.
Panther.
Pink ones,
Yeah.
from getting in, and so it will live with them and just bark and go after the foxes.
Yeah.
It's basically keep them away.
Alert us that there's something untoward near the
Yes.
chickens.
So that's
It might even, well, hopefully it would deter the fox completely, but we'd also be able to give it a fair fight against the fox.
and we'd need some kind of chicken coop, wouldn't we?
Mhm.
This is looking really nice. Look at that, the quality of that.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Have a look at that. Look.
Come on, stick it in their faces.
See, that is looking like doe. Doe,
Oh.
dear, a female. I don't know whether that was in focus or not, but
I think it did go into focus because our
good.
faces went out of focus.
oh well. In
It's a
that
good
case,
clue.
yeah. So this is encouraging because sometimes I get the water consistency wrong. So that's looking nice. That'd be a nice bread.
Mm.
I sure
I'm drooling already.
Yeah. There's nothing nicer than freshly baked bread in your own oven, particularly a wood burning stove oven, with fresh butter. When I say fresh butter, I mean real butter.
Yes.
You were a bit worried then what I was going to say. As every time I open my
I don't
mouth.
think I was particularly worried about
No.
that particular part. Particular.
Pigs.
Pigs.
Tell them about the pigs.
Well, there are lots of different breeds of pigs. We don't know much about many of them, apart from the Tamworth, and obviously large white is the most common one, and belted. But our favourite has to be. We were really interested in the Tamworths. They're the closest to the original wild pig, as it comes really. But our favourite has to be the Oxford Sandy and Blacks. Not because of Clarkson.
No, it just
We
so
saw them
happened-
before that.
Yeah, in his video, in his program, but we were associated with a little place down the road from us who had them as piglets,
Yes.
and they are the cutest things. I'm sure all piglets are cute.
Yeah. I love all their different patterns and stuff. One of them was like tricolour. It looked like a little guinea pig. Obviously, it doesn't look quite so guinea pig now with its size, but
But somebody said you don't get a lot of fat on them,
yes. I can't remember who said that.
and because you need a lot of fat.
Was that John? I don't know.
I can't remember who it was who said that, but
Somebody said it somewhere at some point in time.
they've got a lovely temperament.
Yes.
And I think that's also important, especially as your first pigs, and growing them up, depending on where we get them from, a proper breeder and all that sort
I
of
mean, we may yet discover that there's a breed that's better suited for us, but at the moment that's what our hearts are set on, I think.
So that's pigs. We would like cows. And as you know, we've been over at John's farm and John and Amelia, and we have milked the cows, and you may remember we did that with the...
A few times.
Yes. So we've been thinking about this and sort of drawing up plans and what we would do. And it so much depends on how much land we can have, because that will depict how much grazing area, because you
How much
need,
pasture we can have
I think you need about an acre per cow
per day.
per day.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah, so if you've got the cows for like a week, you need 5 acres. If you have them for a month, you need 30 acres. If you've got them for a year, you need 365.
No, but they need like equivalent to a fresh acre a day to eat. Something like that.
Yes.
But yeah, we
Can't
would-
quite be, yes. We'd run out of acres, wouldn't we?
Oh yeah,
So yeah, so initially we're thinking like 2 or 3 cows,
yes, a handful.
a handful.
Although
one
just
cow
one
is-
cow's more than a handful.
certainly is.
Literally.
But what breed of cow would we look at?
Well, we've always liked the Jerseys, haven't we?
We have.
They are the cutest of the cow breeds.
And they come with makeup and everything, so they've got the eye liner on.
But again, there are lots and lots of breeds, and we would prefer to stick with English or British breeds as much as possible with all of our animals. And so far, with the chickens, that's possible, and the pigs and the cows. Obviously, we're essentially wanting raw milk.
So they've got to be A2.
So, well, because I mean, Friesians, you can drink the raw milk from Friesians, which is fine, it's lovely, but it's not A2. A2 is the basically. I've got to stop saying basically. If I remember rightly, so it's the wrong word, but
Is it the EMSA?
hypoallergenic. You know, a lot of people who are who struggle with eating dairy will eat goat or drink goat's milk or eat goat's cheese or sheep
Yeah.
milk and cheese. Well, that's because it's A2 gene.
Right. Yeah. So it's the gene
But
thing
there
that
are
makes it better for humans.
But there are some cow breeds that also produce A2 milk, and those are Jerseys and Guernseys and Normands, and there's a couple of other breeds, but Jerseys and Guernseys are the best.
And so, but we have looked at Jerseys, and we've also looked at Guernseys, and we bought some books on Guernseys, didn't we?
Yes.
So we're kind
Definitely
of
taking our fancy.
yeah. So I don't know. I mean, because they've got good temperament. That's the other thing, and they are good handlers. We don't
Because we're
need,
beginners.
and we don't need masses of buckets of milk, and
No,
which
no.
you know we end up with bladder buckets of milk, just udder buckets.
Bearing in mind that we would be raising them as a micro dairy and calf at foot, which means that we won't be taking the calves away from them. They will wean naturally, but we will only be milking them once a day,
I'm just
like our
gonna
dear friend
wash
John
this in.
Cook does. So, which is a much more natural way of doing it. I imagine that's how it used to be done until more profit was needed, and.
Yes, because I mean, when you think that people used to live in little cottages, didn't they? I mean, they worked on the land for the landowner, and very
they
often.
didn't have powdered milk for their calves.
No. But I'm talking about right back in
Yeah, no.
you know serfdom times, in the sort of Middle Ages and before, and people had a cottage and they had a cow, and they might have a pig, or he's got a pig, I've got a cow, you've got a shoebox. And between the three of them, you know, one could put the shoe on and hop over to the cow, milk the cow. The other one could hop over to the pig and get some bacon, and all of that. But what I'm saying is, you know, people used to live in that way, a bit, what is it called, sustenance farming,
Oh yeah.
or they'd have little farmsteads and things. And it's only more in recent times when they got more commercial that they spread out. So on these old small holdings, you're kind of going back to the smaller, more Saxon times. Right? That's not quite 10 minutes of kneading, but that looks pretty damn.
It looks really good.
So that's got to sit in there and prove itself for a couple of hours. So
We've got a dishcloth to put on the top.
yeah, I'm gonna.
A
And
tea towel
actually,
rather,
I'm
not
going to put it.
dishcloth.
What I'm tending to do is to put it in a plastic bag, so
To
it
keep the heat in.
keeps the heat in and keeps the atmosphere. And we have got the Essie on, so that's all right. How long have we done on this? 22 minutes.
22 minutes.
So yeah, we better not leave you lingering to get on and do other things. And it's flashing saying you haven't got enough card time, I think.
Oh,
So we'll have to
that's a
end.
surprise. Well,
So
thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you for joining us. And if you could leave the glue here, or glue remover, we could unjoin ourselves. But thank you for watching. Sorry we haven't done one for donkeys,
Yes.
but we will be back. And
And we'll be front.
and we'll be sideways on as well, like this. So I hope that's filled the gap. But we'll come back with something more solid and sensible and what have you, and we'll show you our progress when we get land and what it's like and all of that.
Well, when we find something to go and look at.
Oh, it's all going to take time. So don't, you know, the trouble is people often think, oh my God, you're going to do that. And the next week they go, where's the land? It's like, yeah, okay.
Well, I suppose it doesn't help that we've been dreaming about it and thinking
Talking
of
about
it
it.
since we got together. And in fact, even since before that, since we met as friends. So
That's true. It is true. But this is, I mean, it's, you know, it's an unfolding, and join us on the next one.
It takes a while to change tracks, doesn't it? Take care, everybody.
Goodbye.